Hi, my name is Bern. I'm going to be going over a couple more things from the unscheduled documentation. As you can see right now, I'm here on the patient level desktop. Once again, this is the patient desktop icon with a small house and the little person. Here on the patient shortcuts, I'm going to navigate through the unscheduled documentation. So I'm going to click once. And then as I've gone over earlier before, there's some items here to document spontaneously, such as a patient family education teaching. For example, if you did any patient teaching, you would go to this nursing workflow and select item number 2. So I click once. I'm going to click OK. Again, it'll navigate me to the screen, and then you want to make sure you pay attention to the transaction line. So I'm going to go ahead and click OK because I actually want to document now. Okay, so here you're going to see some areas that need to be filled out. Once again, whatever is in bold, you want to make sure you fill out before you proceed and accept the documentation. For example, if you click here, learning assessment, it's going to ask you questions regarding their learning needs and their language. For example, this patient came here with a Korean speaking language as their native language. So I'm going to find Korean, going to click OK. And if they don't have a secondary language, it's okay. It's not necessarily in bold, so I'm just going to click Go to unlock the cursor so you can be able to navigate without any restriction. Notice here it says English number 3. Since it's in bold, I'm going to go ahead and see what it's asking me to do. So it's asking me if the patient can speak and understand English. So I'm just going to put yes because this patient does understand minimal English and is able to communicate his needs. And this one's asking if he has any communication needs, so I'm just going to put no. Ears and hearing, I'm just going to say normal. So I'll just put normal for all of these. So let's just say this patient doesn't have any memory problems, so I'm just going to put inapplicable. Actually, I'm just going to be more specific and indicate patient does not have any problems with memory. It's asking about community services and support groups. So it's your responsibility to just verify if the patient needs any support group or community services. So I'm just going to select no. Preferred teaching method. I usually go with verbal and audio visual. Demonstration is also helpful as well. And if there's any learning needs, which in this case, none because he's able to understand both English and Korean, we're just going to put none. Learning barriers, none. So over here, it'll automatically fill out the documented by with your name. So I'll click OK, and then I'll click OK to move on to the next screen. So everything else here that's in bold, you want to make sure you complete. And if there's any additional patient teaching, you can go to claims information, click once, and then let's say you taught and provided patient education on heart failure. Over here, it's asking enter partial education topic, so I'm just going to type in heart failure. And dash, click OK. So it's going to generate topics regarding heart failure. So with this one, I'm just going to select coping with heart failure. Click OK. Oops, I believe I missed a step. So I'll do that one more time. Click OK. I'll click OK. There it is. It says define. You want to make sure that it says define to confirm that you inserted that education topic. So I have to complete everything else that's in bold just so I can be able to save this documentation completely. So the advanced directives, this patient was informed about advanced directives. So I'm going to click OK. So the teaching was provided verbally. Education complete, because you did complete the education. Now you want to click OK to navigate through the workflow. Core measures. Upon admission, you're asked and assessed about any core measures the patient comes in with. For example, if the patient came in with any pneumonia or heart failure, you want to go into this field and then select one or the other, or whatever applies to the patient. In this case, we'll do CHF. And then again, you want to make sure these fields are filled out. So you want to make sure you educate the patient. This one, it's useful during discharge. So if the patient is going to be going home soon, it's always good to go over home care, just preventative cares. Understanding. Was education provided regarding understanding? You want to click yes. Coping, yes. Warning signs, this is very important. You want to make sure all of these are included in the education. Same thing with medications, along with activity and diet, and weight monitoring. And then discharge instructions. Again, discharge instructions begin during admission as well. I mean, discharge planning, that is. Education complete. You want to make sure you select that to document that you did complete the education. So I'll click OK. As you notice, these are not in bold, so they're not necessarily required. And then medication. Patient is alert, knows his medications well. Let's use verbal. So notice I'm just double clicking instead of going back and forth with OK. You can actually double click to speed up the process. Education complete, and then click OK. Click OK. And then click OK because everything else is filled out. Unless you want to add more stuff, like if you gave teaching on any Coumadin, pain management, you want to go ahead and fill those out. And then you click accept to file them. Okay, so next I'm going to be talking about significant event. Significant events are used during events requiring documentation on patient files, AMA, any codes, blood product transfusion reaction. You do not want to use this for any physician phone calls because there's already a designated workflow for that called physician notification with SBAR. Also, lab values, there's already another workflow for that, which is called critical results readback. So this is only used for the items listed here. So if we were to document on a patient file, it's just asking you to insert a comment and describe the assessment and what happened. So you can just put patient found. Patient found on floor. Patient found on floor. And stated that he was on his way to the restroom. And then you just click accept, and your documentation's filed. Last thing I want to go over is the blood sugar check. There's actually a blood sugar check that you can use from the unscheduled documentation. So you want to select that item, click OK, and then you want to document now, and then you just enter the results. So we can say the patient's blood sugar is 120. You want to click OK, and then OK, and you want to accept to file it. Otherwise, these are the items I wanted to go over for the unscheduled documentation. Thank you.